Hi, today I'm going to tell you about the Encanto cartoon. Mirabelle is the only girl in the family who does not have a magical gift. She believes that even without a gift, you can be useful to people around you and your family. But is it true? Many years ago, a family with children had to leave their home. Many of their city went with them in the hope of a new life, but not all reached the path turned out to be very dangerous. Among those who could not walk was Mirabelle's great-grandfather. Then at the most terrible moment magic was granted. The candle that Encanto's grandmother carried with her into a new life was filled with magic. She caught fire with a magical flame that never goes out, and she created a safe haven for all the people, the Encanto Valley. The candle surrounded the city with mountains on all sides. The magic was passed on to the villa in which the arriving family lived, as well as to the children of this family. And then to the children of these children, and so on. Today Mirabelle should also receive her gift. But something went wrong and she did not receive the gift. Mirabelle tried not to get upset because of this and to help the whole family with what she can even without abilities. Now it's time for Antonio, the youngest member of the Madrigal family, to receive his gift. He was very worried and afraid that, like his sister, he would not receive the gift, but Mirabelle managed to support him and prove that it was not as scary as he thinks. The whole town was slowly going to the Villa Madrigal for the holiday. And so the ceremony began. Antonio was very afraid to go alone and asked Mirabelle to guide him. Antonio touched the door handle and everyone fell silent in anticipation. The whole Madrigal family chewed very much for the fact that Antonio would not receive the gift, and therefore when the door handle lit up in gold everyone exhaled. It turned out that Antonio's ability to talk, understand, and control animals. The whole family and the people from the city were happy to replenish the magic gift in their family. During the general photo, Mirabelle went down to the first floor and found a terrible picture. Tiles began to fall off in the house and the walls cracked and fell apart. Mirabelle immediately ran to inform her grandmother about this on the holiday. But when all the people went down to the first floor, the whole house was intact. Grandma thought that Mirabelle wanted to disrupt Antonio's holiday because she was jealous of him. But everything was completely different. At night Mirabelle overheard a conversation between her grandmother and her dead grandfather. It turned out that something was happening with magic. All day Mirabelle tried to find out what happened. And she was tipped off by her sister. She said that maybe her Uncle Bruno knows what's going on with magic. But Uncle Bruno has been removed from the family for a long time, and for this my sister asked me to be careful. Mirabelle went to her uncle's tower. In order to get to her uncle's house, she had to go through a lot of steps, and now she is reached. Mirabelle saw an open door and entered it. The door slammed shut and she was left in the room all alone. On the floor in the sand, she noticed shards glowing green. She tried to collect them. But as soon as she brought the pieces to each other, she saw herself. The walls of the room cracked, sand fell from all the cracks. Mirabelle tried to collect all the pieces in her bag and jumped out of the door. As soon as Mirabelle left Bruno's room, she bumped into her grandmother, who was in a hurry to attend the engagement of Isa, Mirabelle's sister. Suddenly, Sister Mirabelle rose from the first floor crying and reported that she had lost her strength. Mirabelle asked her aunt, "Is it bad when you appear in Bruno's visions?" And her aunt and uncle told her that everything that was Bruno always carried a negative character and it always ended very badly. Mirabelle couldn't stand it and gathered all the pieces into one. All this was seen by her father, and she told that she went to the tower to Bruno. Her father said that they would be silent today, since her sister had an engagement and it could not be spoiled. They were about to go to the table, but they saw that Dolores had overheard their conversation. She was a gossip girl and told absolutely everything and everyone. And so it turned out. Dolores told the whole family at the table during Isa's engagement. The animals stole the fragments from the vision from Mirabelle's dad and put them together as a whole. While Mirabelle was trying to pick up the pieces, the animals accidentally threw them on the table and ran away. Mom and the groom who came to woo were shocked by what was happening at Madrigal's house. The whole house was covered with cracks, and rats ran all over the house with fragments from Bruno's vision. The whole family was very angry with Mirabelle. Not far from Mirabelle, rats ran with fragments, and she ran after them. The mice led her to the painting, and it turned out that there was a secret passage behind the painting. There she saw her uncle, who had been hiding here for many years. She tried to find out why she was in Bruno's vision. But he did not know himself because the vision is not finished. Mirabelle suggested Bruno to make a new vision, but for this it needed a spacious room. Then Antonio came to the rescue. He found out where Bruno and Mirabelle were with the help of his rats, who told him everything. He offered to hold the ceremony in his room. The ceremony was successful. In the new vision, it was shown that if Mirabelle hugs her sister Issa, with whom they have a very bad relationship, then the magic will regain its power. Mirabelle decided to go to Issa and hug, but everything turned out to be much more complicated than she thought. Issa was angry at Mirabelle for ruining her life like that. She agreed to a hug on the condition that Mirabelle would ask for forgiveness. Mirabelle did not agree to such conditions and emotionally shouted to her sister that she was selfish and doing everything for herself. These words made Issa very angry, and she told what was really going on. It turned out that Issa absolutely did not want to get married, and she did it only for her family. Issa told a lot more nuances of her life. Mirabelle showed that she doesn't have to always be perfect. And Issa is finally happier than usual. Grandma Mirabelle saw all this. She was very angry and believed that Mirabelle was a bad influence on her sister and on everyone in general. She also believed that her family was losing strength because of her, and the house was coming apart at the seams too because of her. Mirabelle couldn't stand it and yelled at her grandmother. She told her everything that had accumulated in her over all these years. At this moment, the house began to fall apart more and more, and the candle dissolved and went out before our eyes. The whole family tried to save the candle from the rubble of the house. But only Mirabelle did it. And then she saved an already extinguished candle. Mirabelle was very upset and ran away. And her grandmother found her only in the morning. Mirabelle and Grandma talked about what happened, and Grandma admitted her guilt. Mirabelle promised her grandmother that they would be fine. At that moment, Bruno came to the river on a horse. Despite his fear of his grandmother, he was able to get out of his underground passages. He thought that Grandma was yelling at Mirabelle again and started defending her. But it was different. While Bruno was trying to take all the blame on himself, and Grandma came up and hugged him. He was in shock and didn't understand what was going on. They got on a horse together and went home. Mirabelle was able to unite the whole family and charge everyone with positivity. They decided to rebuild the house manually on their own. As soon as they started construction, they heard hundreds of voices that were heading towards them. It turned out that all the people from the city came to help the Madrigal family rebuild the house. And they managed to do it in a very short time. And now the house is built, the whole family is assembled, and the people from the city also did not disperse. The very last touch remained the door handle. The whole family decided that Mirabelle should put the pen out. And that's what happened. The whole house caught fire with a golden flame, and this flame spread to the whole valley. Magic has returned to the Madrigal family. All family members have regained their abilities and can help the whole city again.